Gorgeous Sunday in Miami. Whether you're out at the beach, whether you're downtown, or whether you're at Marlins Park, and that's where we are. Hyundai presents a Sunday of baseball, the Marlins and the Phillies, on a Kids Sunday. They've split the first two games of this series. Today on the broadcast, we'll be celebrating kids and baseball, a very instructional and educational tools of the trade segment. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, along with Tommy Hutton. We'll get to Jeff Conine and all the tools of the trade in a moment. Let's talk first about this series. For the Marlins, a very good game on Friday night, sloppy game last night. One constant in this series has been Giancarlo Stanton. He's back and with a vengeance.
Yeah, there have been a couple of different type games in this series. The quickness of Friday night, the 4 hours and 3 minutes last night. But you're right. Giancarlo has been there. So has Donovan Solano, for that matter. But Stanton seems to impress everybody. He starts it with batting practice and then just continues on. But I like the base hit his first time up that drove in 2 runs, just showing that he can drive in runs without hitting a ball over 400 feet. But you know what? Kind of like that, too. 36th home run of the year for Stanton. He's had fewer at-bats this year than he had last year when he hit 35.
This is a very interesting pitching matchup for this ball game. I mean, you've got Nathan Eovaldi, who deserved wins in his last 2 games. He left with the lead his last 2 games. And you've got Cole Hamels, who's having a splendid year. He's only lost 6 games, but the Marlins have given him half of those 6 losses.
Cole Hamels has been the ace of the Philadelphia staff. It's a career high in wins for Hamels with 16. Nathan Eovaldi, last 2 times out against the Braves, should have won those games. He's pitched really well, and the thing I like about Nathan Eovaldi, we've seen him progress from the first time we saw him pitch as a Marlin.
We'll see if he can take a step forward in what will be his final start of 2012. Tools of the trade: gloves, bats, spikes, helmets, everything you can think of. Jeff Conine dives into it when we return. Field, Craig Minervini. Craig?
Boy, Rich, you're not kidding today. We have a special guest. Come on in. You may remember the one and only.
Hello, remember me?
The one and only Tutti Frutti.
Hi, guys. Hey, enjoy.
What is this?
This is a SpongeBob. You know that sing song? That SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob SquarePants.
Never done better than Mr. Fruity. You brought this because a few weeks ago you promised us. I think Rich Waltz actually requested.
I promise this. Yes, I promise this. And next Family Sunday, I make it a SpongeBob for everybody. You know. So
no more Sundays left. This is the last one.
That's the last one. Yes. This is the last. Yeah, this is the last Sunday. But I'll be there at the next season. I promise. I make it all characters.
This must have taken hours. Yes?
Yeah. This is a lot of work for that one. You know, yeah.
You did a great job all year long, Tutti Frutti. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, and on that note, let's see if you could top that, Jeff Conine.
I don't know how I'm going to follow that, but during the show today, we're going to be talking about tools of the trade, basic differences between Major League Baseball, Little League Baseball, aluminum bat, wood bat, spikes, helmets, all that good stuff. So stay tuned, and we'll explain that all coming up in the show. Back to you, Craig.
All right, no more SpongeBob. We're going to get to the serious business. Ow! This just popped it right in front of me here. They don't make these SpongeBob balloons like they used to. Coming up next, Game 3 of the series. The Phillies and the Marlins. I'm bringing this to Rich Waltz, the damaged SpongeBob.
Hyundai. If it's fuel efficient, affordable, stylish, and safe, it's probably a Hyundai by AT&T. The nation's largest 4G network, AT&T. Rethink possible. By Papa John's. For $10, get Papa John's Buffalo Chicken Pizza. For $2 more, get any large pizza. And by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. Gorgeous day outside. Nice AC, roof shut, rolling windows, offering a spectacular view of downtown. Here come the Phillies with Jimmy Rollins leading the way. Juan Pierre right behind him. Chase Utley had a big night last night. So did Carlos Ruiz. Dominic Brown gets a start in right field. Nate SCHIERHOLTZ is out in center. Big Darren Ruff is at first base. Pete Orr, the pride of Ontario, is at third base. And Cole Hamels will hit ninth.
Well, we've talked a little bit, Rich, about Nathan Eovaldi and what he's done his last couple of outings. He's pitched really well. They were both against the Braves. Should have had a couple of wins. And he's also handled left-handers, I think, the last two starts better than we've seen, and lefties have given him a little trouble.
We are joined, actually, you can see right now there's an issue in the outfield, and I'm not sure what it is. Jimmy Rollins is pointing out towards the home run sculpture. It may be the last panel of the scoreboard there.
It might be that, or Tootie the Fruity is still out there distracting Jimmy Rollins.
I think SpongeBob floated down to the batter's eye, maybe.
Yes, we're joined by Jeff Conine, and Niner will be with us throughout the telecast. Joey Cora, along with Ozzie Guillen, pointing out to center field.
It's obviously something that Jimmy Rollins has spotted that he didn't see the last couple of games. Those, as you look at that final rolling window, it looks like there could be a glare. I don't think it's in that area at all.
No,
it's
but
more out towards center
now
field.
Now that's a distraction out there, but not for the hitters.
More for the left fielder.
No. The umpires are pointing out towards left center field near the base of or around.
Does it look like those windows are cracked open? I don't even know if they do that.
No, they don't.
Okay, so then there's some kind of a glare, or they're not all the way closed. Right behind where you and Craig sit.
It was definitely closed. I was just up there during the pregame, and the windows are shut.
I think what they're pointing to is below the windows, and it's either on the wall, above the wall, or on that scoreboard panel in front of the home run sculpture. But we're all set to go. I mean, we had a clown on, which kicked off a kids Sunday. David Sampson, Marlins president.
Now it's interesting. The home plate umpire Dale Scott is conversing with a couple of the ground crew members over on the first base side. Seems like everything's under control.
Brian Peterson actually came in to talk to a couple of umpires, and whatever Peterson said, the umpire said, all right, don't worry about it.
There's a baseball stuck on the home run sculpture. I wonder if Jimmy Rollins saw that baseball and said, it's bothering me. I don't know.
I don't even know if he can see it from that angle, standing at home plate. But anyways, here we go. Pinch a penny, first pitch. One of the mysteries of the game. Dale Scott, a called strike. There's the ball. I doubt that Rollins is bothered by a ball sitting there, but we'll find out. We'll effort to find out exactly what the delay was about. EOVALDI misses down low. Rollins, 3 hits last night. He scored 3 runs last night. The Phillies offensively with a big night, and Rollins a part of that. And up and down the lineup, they had big hits from a lot of people. EOVALDI turns and misses, and it's 3-1. He left with the lead his last time up 3-2 at Atlanta. Marlins couldn't hold the lead. He didn't get the win, and he left with a 3-0 lead his previous start to that, and that was against Atlanta, and the Marlins bullpen couldn't hold the lead, and he got another no decision.
I think what we've seen his last few starts is much better command. I mean, the stuff is there. There's no question about it.
What I've noticed the last few starts as well is his velocity has increased markedly. We saw him early on pitching 93, 94, and he touched 98 the last few starts.
Rollins walks.
And here's a look at the defense, brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida, with Peterson, Hernandez, and Stanton in that outfield, Velasquez and Reyes. The hot Donovan Solano at second base. Carlos Lee and John Buck is handling the young Nathan EOVALDI.
Here is Pierre. And Juan Pierre takes outside. Pierre last night was all over the bases. He stole a couple of them, and he's brought himself to 37 stolen bases. So he and Jose Reyes, with 4 games left, have a shot at Michael Bourne, who is at 39. Rollins dives back. Rollins has been busy on the bases this year. He's over 30 once again.
Tommy, you think with the Marlins going to their 6-man rotation, the extra rest has benefited Nathan Eovaldi's velocity? To see it jump that quickly is kind of odd for me.
Yeah, I mean, he's always, since he's gotten here, thrown hard. I think it just shows that, forget the innings pitched, how many he's thrown this year. He's thrown a career high, closing in on 150 innings between the Dodgers and his time here. I think comfort, mechanics, I would have a hard time believing that one day's rest would allow him to do that. And I think both of the things you just mentioned, comfort and mechanics, have been disrupted here. And maybe it was the delay in starting the ball game, because Eovaldi didn't look all too pleased to be standing around for 3 minutes while everybody tried to figure out what was going on in center field. And he walked Rollins. He's 2-0 on Pierre, and this is not a lineup where you want to put a couple of guys on and have to face the Utleys and the Ruizes to follow. Yeah, and especially those two guys. Rollins at first. And the 2-0. And he misses out. It's 3-0. Rich, you brought up the stolen bases. I checked quickly. Once again, Michael Bourne not in the lineup for the Braves. That has to be a concern right now for them. He did not play in the 3-game series in which the Marlins were in Atlanta. They saw Reed Johnson or Jose Costanza in that leadoff spot. Three and one. Rollins on the move. Pierre lines it into center field. That's a base hit. Up with the ball is Hernandez. Airmails a throw to third, and Pierre's going to get to it. No, he's safe. Wow, Solano swept the glove. Pierre came out with a head-first slide, may have pulled an arm back and appeared to get in around it. Ozzie Guillen is going to come out to argue this one. First of all, a poor throw by Gorkis Hernandez. No reason for that. A good play by Gil Velasquez to come off the bag, get the throw from Hernandez, and then try to get Juan Pierre. But does he tag him? Well, he didn't touch the base with his right hand. He touched it with his trail hand. So you would think by then a tag would have been applied. This is a little trickery by Juan Pierre. He's out. He's out, yes, because he didn't touch it with the right hand. Brian Knight, the second base umpire.
That's a savvy piece of base running by Juan Pierre there. He knows he's going to be out. He's going to be out by a significant amount. So you pull that arm back to just do what he did. He has to miss that sweep tag, and he basically fooled the umpire.
And it's a terrific slide by Pierre. And now here is Utley with runners second and third. And Eovaldi gets a strike. I'll tell you the other factor that went into Solano's tag is the runner at third base. You could see Solano, as he swept the glove, look up to see what was happening at third base. If there's no runner at third, he probably follows that tag a little bit closer. 0-1 to Utley. In the air, left field. Peterson. Both runners are tagging. Peterson has it, and his throw comes into third. Rollins scores, and the Phillies manufacture a run right away against Nathan Eovaldi.
No chance for Brian Peterson to throw out Jimmy Rollins there from third base, so he does the correct thing and just gets it to the cutoff man at third base.
So that leadoff walk coming in to score. Cleveland Clinic brings you the Marlins defense. You see it. El Caballo and Velasquez at the corners. John Buck. Ruiz now with Pierre at second. Last night, Ruiz delivered a big 2-run double in the 7th. He drove into, and he's been one of the best Phillies with runners in scoring position all year long.
So far, Niner, it looks like EOVALDI hasn't settled in where he can establish any of his other pitches. And when he's able to do that, that's when he really gets tough.
Yeah, he does. Freddie Gonzalez, in his words, when his last start in Atlanta, had said he had electric stuff, and he really does. But as you know, in the major league level, if you're not in the strike zone, it doesn't matter what kind of electric stuff you have. If it's inconsistent, you're going to pay for it.
There's Pierre. Ruiz, a robust 366 with runners in scoring position this year. And EOVALDI spins trying to keep him on.
Now, we saw Juan Pierre steal third last night, so you certainly have to keep your eye on him.
If Ruiz had enough at bats, he would be second in the National League in that category. Alan Craig of St. Louis at 408, Miguel Montero at 350 are 1 and 2 in the National League. Third right now, there's a look at Ruiz. Third with runners in scoring position is a guy that may win the batting title, Buster Posey at 348. Posey comes into play today hitting 337. Andrew McCutchen has fallen to 329. And of course, Posey's teammate Melky Cabrera has, I guess, conceded or ceded that he would not accept the batting title.
He's recused himself from the batting title.
Nicely.
And I would think Major League Baseball would have stepped in and done that anyway. Don't
Good
you?
point. Yeah, Rich and I talked about that. Yeah, I agree. But then if Major League Baseball does that, then you get involved with the union and player association. So if the player initiates it, no problem.
Well, maybe it was a mutually agreed upon.
Yes.
Fastball in, and it's 2-2. EOVALDI, the 22-year-old, Alvin, Texas. Dodger draft pick. And of course came over in the Hanley Ramirez trade. And he's thrown a ton of pitches already. He has just 1 out, 18 pitches. His ball strike ratio not the best. He's 9 balls, 9 strikes. A walk to Rollins. Pierce singled the center with Rollins on the move. Utley's sacrifice fly. Marlins trying to limit the damage to just the 1 run.
John Buck looked like he wanted that one.
Because it was in the strike zone.
Yeah, it was a good slider. I think it fooled Dale Scott, the home plate. He's not in good rhythm either right now because of that little delay.
Three-two hammered left field. Peterson on the move, won't get it, off the wall. Pierre trots home. Ruiz has himself a double.
Well, I tell you, isn't that the way it goes? And that's where it really becomes frustrating for not only the catcher, John Buck, but for young Nathan EOVALDI. He knows he made a good pitch, that slider that could have been called strike 3. He didn't get the call. He comes back with a fastball, and Ruiz all over it.
And Ruiz, this year, especially against the Marlins, has not missed many fastballs down the middle.
And again, Ruiz, one of the best in baseball with runners in scoring position.
That play kind of set up too by Juan Pierre's base running. He saw Gorky Hernandez's throw go way up in the air, decided to take a chance, gets himself into scoring position. As an outfielder, and you see a guy in motion, there's no way, especially with a guy with Jimmy Rollins' speed, that you're going to be able to get him on that lead base at third base. So you should always go to second base.
I think it goes a step even before then. The 3-minute delay before the first pitch to Rollins. Just watching EOVALDI stalk around the mound, he was ready to go, And then all of a sudden, for 3 minutes, there was mass confusion on the field. Nothing seemed to be resolved or moved or turned off. And he was back on the mound, and at that time, he looked ruffled. He walked Rollins. He fell behind Pierre. And Pierre hit a 3-1 pitch into center field.
Well, you wonder.
Line drive, Reyes, little flip. And getting back in time was Ruiz.
That was tough because Reyes wasn't quite close enough to the bag to get there himself. I don't think. He may have thought about that. But neither was Solano to receive a flip. See where Solano's playing? He's a long way off the bag. And I don't know if Reyes can get there. He tried to lead Solano with a little flip, and
it's Sunday. Tried to play quarterback.
Yeah.
Tried to lead his receiver a little bit too much. He would have beaten him. He wouldn't have gotten. He would have definitely got back to the bag. Yeah.
You know, one more note on Gorky Hernandez's throw, because it is Kids Sunday. Even if he throws to third, if it's level to hit the cutoff man, then Juan Pierre doesn't go to second.
That's right. So kids, outfielders, your main job is to hit your cutoff man. You do that, your job is done.
You're never going to hear a coach, a manager, a broadcaster say, "Oh, he hit the cutoff man."
Never. I tell my youth teams that I coached growing up with my son Griffin, and I say get to it quickly, get rid of it quickly, and hit your cutoff man. No one will ever say anything about your outfield play.
Speaking of the outfield, we have received word as to what Rollins was pointing to and what the umpires. As I thought, Dale Scott, the home plate umpire, you see that panel there? From behind home plate, Rollins thought there was a gap and that gap was open into left field. That's a base hit, and here comes Ruiz. The odd part is it's always been there. It's covered with the fence, the mesh fence that's in front of the scoreboard. So it's a non-issue. It took Peterson.
So this right in here?
Yes. It took, remember when I said Peterson came in and talked to the umpires and then everybody said, oh, okay. Peterson apparently came in and said, hey, guys, look, it's always been that way. It's covered. It's not an issue. 3-0. Phillies on top. Schierholtz driving in a run. And
yeah, the issue right now is the Philly offense.
Here's Darren Ruff. And the unraveling right now of Nathan EOVALDI continues here in the first inning. Schierholtz at first. Ruff, the rookie first baseman, who will start the last 4 games, including this one. Brian Howard done for the year. Howard dropping a lead pipe on his toe and breaking that toe. The lead pipe you use on deck.
That's a tough injury.
I was going to say, is that piece of rebar that he swings on deck? The thing, I felt it before. It weighs about 45 pounds. On your toe.
That's it.
You know, Willie Stargell used to have a sledgehammer in the on-deck circle.
Gary Sheffield used to have a sledgehammer.
Sheff did too.
Yep. His dad made it for him, painted the head teal and put Sheffield 10 down the handle, and that was on our on-deck circle for every game.
Did anybody else lift it?
I used to swing it. Yeah. I just thought it looked cool. That's about it. Didn't really do anything for me.
You saw that line on EOVALDI. Now 16 balls and only 15 strikes. This is not the same guy the Marlins saw out there against the Braves in his last 2 starts. That one is hammered to left field. Peterson gathers it in. Schierholtz will stop, and the Phillies were able to scratch and claw to start the inning, and now all of a sudden the well-hit balls are coming with each at bat. Even the out that Dominic Brown hit was allowed out.
And it appears that just about everything they're hitting hard is a fastball.
Fastballs that are located over the middle of the plate, they're catching a good part of the white.
Marlins had to use 6 relievers in last night's ball game. And already Chad Godin is up. And you really have to get somebody up because it's a Cole Hamels start. And even though the Marlins have beaten Hamels in the past, they always seem to beat him in a low-scoring game.
Yeah, you're right about that. He's 1-3 against the Marlins this year in 4 starts, but his ERA is about 3.5.
Well, it's 3-0 right now. Pete Orr takes in Orr getting the start at third base. He drove in a couple runs last night.
As they say, the hitters are spitting on all the breaking stuff and just waiting for fastballs.
Yep.
All right, on a Kid Sunday with Tools of the Trade, Jeff Conine will now explain what spitting on a breaking ball or a changeup is.
What Tommy means is you're not literally spitting at the baseball. It's kind of like recognizing the pitches very early and not swinging at anything out of the strike zone. They're waiting for their pitch, which is, as and has been so far this game, fastballs down the middle.
Or swings and misses, and a long inning, a 36 pitch inning for EOVALDI, ends 3-0 Phillies. Yeah, there's the gap that Rollins apparently was pointing towards that the umpires were concerned about. You can see it's plainly covered with the mesh screen.
He was worried about the game of hide and seek that's going on, though, with whoever that may be.
Here come the Marlins now. Their work cut out for them against Cole Hamels, Gorkys Hernandez, Brian Peterson, Jose Reyes, Giancarlo Stanton, Carlos Lee, Donovan Solano, John Buck, Gil Velasquez, and Nathan EOVALDI. And on the mound, the 28-year-old out of San Diego, Cole Hamels. And his first pitch sails wide of Gorkys Hernandez with Brian Peterson and Jose Reyes coming up.
I think with the injury to Halladay, with the kind of year Lee has had, Hamels has been their ace. A career-high 16 wins.
Poor Cliff Lee, though. I mean, this guy's almost got a sub-3 ERA and has only won 6 games.
That's amazing, yeah.
That's mind-boggling.
Mr. No Decision. Here's the 1-1. And Lee pitched well on Friday night, got a no decision. In fact, Hamels, Halladay, and Lee last year, the Phillies won 106 games. They all had ERAs under 3. And Hernandez swings and misses at a changeup. Ruiz digs it out and throws him out. Phillies defensively.
There's a look brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Juan Pierre, SCHIERHOLTZ, and Dominic Brown. Pete Orr and Darren Ruff at the corners. Rollins and Utley, seen that combination before. And Carlos Ruiz behind the plate. An all-star this year.
Chooch. An opportunity to play with Carlos Ruiz in 2006, and just a great guy to have in your team. A great guy in the clubhouse, works hard.
There was an article earlier this year, Rich and I were talking about it, about you don't see it when you watch Ruiz play, but the impersonations he has and the fun he is in the clubhouse.
He is very funny. Does a great job of keeping that staff loose and lightened up. A good presence in the clubhouse. Good guy to have in your team.
And last night we voted him the Phillies MVP this year.
It's a good MVP.
It is. We don't have a plaque or anything, but we figured we'd kick it around, and Ruiz certainly fits it. His numbers with runners in scoring position, the great first half he had when Howard and Utley were out, all the intangibles that he brings, and the fact that he handles maybe the premier rotation in the game. Peterson rolls it up first base. In fact, yesterday I was talking to Brian Peterson about facing Halladay, and he said it's true about a lot of the Philly pitchers in that the pitchers oftentimes react to what you're doing in the box because of Ruiz. Ruiz is very good at watching your feet, watching your swing, sensing what you're trying to do as a hitter, and he will call the game off of that.
One of those little things, intangible things that a good catcher does.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. And Hamels with a fastball that rides in, and Peterson swings and missed it. Hamels, 2 hitters, 2 strikeouts.
Boy, he works off that fastball, and then he goes to the changeup. Fastball's early. Changeup's really his pitch. Changes speeds very well. Brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. As an example, Rich, last year the big three, Halladay, Lee, and Hamels, won 50 games. This year, that trio, even though Hamels has a career-high 16 wins, has won 32 games.
Reyes now to face him.
Cole Hamels, a model of consistency his time in Philadelphia, rewarded with a enormous contract extension.
6 years, $144 million.
That's enormous, right?
It's the second largest contract ever for a pitcher.
Falls into that enormous category.
And it doesn't kick in until next year. This year, he's getting a mere $15 million. So it's essentially a 7-year contract with the big money starting next year. The bigger money.
Yeah.
You look at Cole Hamels out there. Good-looking guy. I think one of his nicknames is Hollywood.
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 Now, Reyes in his career has hit Hamels and hit him quite well. 377 in 53 at-bats. And Reyes takes down low.
And that's the key right there, to lay off that changeup in the dirt. He loves to throw it down out of the strike zone. You'll see a lot of bad swings off of Cole Hamels' changeup.
Two. Misses away. And a changeup. He strikes out the side. Well, that's an exclamation point. The Phillies get Hamels 3 runs, and he comes out and strikes out 3 Marlins. A September Sunday in Miami. Coventry Healthcare second, 3-0. Phillies jumped all over Nathan EOVALDI in the first. And he'll try to rebound. He gets Hamels, Rollins, Pierre in the second. On a Sunday in baseball, the last Sunday of the regular season, and lots of very important games across the landscape of the American League. The Yankees and the Orioles wake up tied for first. The Yankees have fallen behind the Blue Jays 2-0 in the bottom of the second. Baltimore is scoreless. They're just underway. Boston and Baltimore at Camden Yards. The Rays are in Chicago. That game starts in about half an hour. Hamels lifts one in the air, left center field. Peterson has it, and he makes the catch. Chevron ticket Wednesday, and Wednesday, of course, is closing day. Fill up with 8 gallons or more of Chevron with Techron gasoline. Get a voucher for a 50% discount off tickets in select sections for any remaining Miami Marlins Wednesday home game. Stop in at participating Chevron stations for full details. The Braves are at home against the Mets. The Nationals, with that bizarre grand slam by Michael Morse last night, are back in St. Louis. The Nationals have clinched at least a tie for first. They can clinch the division with either a win or a Braves loss to the Mets.
By the way, EOVALDI, he threw a breaking ball to get Hamels and then dropped a nice one in for strike one to Rollins. Look like a change up there. So if he starts to get that stuff over a little more, then all of a sudden that fastball becomes more effective.
Yeah, usually hitters are much more successful when they can eliminate a pitch. When they know that the pitcher cannot throw a breaking ball for a strike, they're just going to sit on that fastball. It doesn't matter how hard you're throwing it.
They spit on that breaking ball.
They spit on that breaking ball.
You have little kids now going around, telling their mom,
Tommy told me to do it.
Told me to spit on that pitch.
2-2 to Jimmy Rollins. Rollins in his last 4 at-bats has scored 4 runs. Scored in the 5th, the 7th, and the 8th last night, and the 1st here this afternoon. And you see he's up there. Andrew McCutchen atop that list. Sunday is a traditional day to look at league leaders around baseball, but especially with just 3 games left for most teams after this. We got a doubleheader today with the Angels and the Rangers. Rollins out to right. Stanton is out there, and he makes the catch. I told you Buster Posey comes in at 337. McCutchen is 8 points behind him in the batting chase at 329. Ryan Braun with his 41 homers leads Giancarlo Stanton by 5. Chase Headley and Ryan Braun are tied for RBIs at 112.
How about Chase Headley hitting his 30th home run, as did Corey Hart, hit a couple of home runs for Milwaukee yesterday. He has 30.
On base percentage, the National League leader, Buster Posey at 410. Slugging percentage, Ryan Braun. Right behind him, Andrew McCutchen and Posey. Little chopper. Velasquez has to hurry, and he does, and he gets Pierre. And EOVALDI goes 1-2-3 in the second. A nice bounce back after giving up 3 in the first.
for Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
On a Kids Sunday, in the bottom of the second, Phillies have a 3-0 lead. Jeff Conine has joined us. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. And Cole Hamels looked very sharp in that first inning. Giancarlo Stanton, Carlos Lee, and Donovan Solano.
You know, we talked, Rich, about Hamels with his 16th win, a career high. With his 3 strikeouts in the first inning, he has a career high now in strikeouts, 211 this year.
Here's the 0-1. Stanton got jammed and pops it high and foul and out of play. The Baltimore Orioles haven't wasted any time against Boston in a big game for them, tied with the Yankees. Nate McLouth led off with a home run. J.J. Hardy and Chris Davis have followed with base hits. They've got first and third and nobody out and a 1-0 lead.
Be some very interesting scenarios coming up in the American League playoff picture next week.
Stanton pops another one up. Ruiz goes out to get it, and he makes the catch.
Very interesting. Giancarlo saw all fastballs, and with a count 0-2, look at where they wanted that pitch. Ruiz up, and that's right where the pitch
put it.
Wow, that's right where he put it. That's how you win 16 games.
That's how you become a 3-time All-Star.
That's how you sign a 6-year contract for what?
$144 million.
World Series MVP.
Tapper to third, or throws out Carlos Lee.
When you look at the top 3 of this Phillies rotation, Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, Cole Hamels, all of them work very quickly. All of them do not walk many batters. So you're talking about a defense that's always on guard, always prepared, because there aren't any long innings with these guys, really.
And I think the other thing to add to that, all of them throw top out, let's say 92, 94 maybe. They're not guys who throw blazing fastballs.
They're pitchers.
Yeah.
They're not throwers.
Here's Donovan Solano. You see he's at 300. 4 for 8 in this series. And Hamels with a sweeping breaking ball to get strike 2. Solano has faced Hamels and is 2 for 4 against him. End of the bat. Utley a quick release in time to get him. Hamels has retired all 6 that he has faced. Asks a hockey style catcher's mask. With more on that on a Kids Sunday, here's Jeff Conine.
Well, thank you, Rich. It used to be where the plain catcher's mask was in, and in the last few years you've seen guys go to the hockey style mask, which covers basically the entire head. You've got a solid piece in the back to prevent the bats from coming around and hitting guys in the back of the head. Much better protection on the side. We saw John Buck a couple years ago actually get hit, or John Baker, I'm sorry, get hit in the side of the head by Albert Pujols follow through and get cut. This is the old style mask and helmet that guys used to use, just a flat mask, and they put the hard hat underneath, so that would prevent them from getting foul balls and bats off the top of the head. But it did leave the side of the head protected. So a lot of the guys nowadays go to that hockey style mask for better protection, and they're a little bit more expensive, but definitely safer.
Niner, did you ever catch when you were coming up?
Oh, no. They threw the idea around at me, and I declined quickly.
Because a lot of kids start catching because they like the gear. That was Pablo Sandoval actually threw left-handed as a kid, but was so enamored with the catcher's gear, he learned to throw right-handed and became a catcher, and now, of course, is an infielder.
Well, when I was 11, I did put on the gear once and caught a good friend of mine, and I got about 6 foul tips off my arm that game, and I became allergic to catcher's gear after that.
Very nice. That's your little Conine's Clubhouse set there. Tools of the trade. Jeff will be talking baseball equipment throughout the game.
Notice how he got over there so quickly to the wonderful set we have.
Utley pulls a ground ball. Lee has it. EOVALDI, a very good athlete, is off the mound quickly and gets the out. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts, descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. EOVALDI, since that messy first inning, has now retired 5 in a row. Here's Ruiz. He doubled in that inning. It was all set up with a leadoff walk of Jimmy Rollins, and then EOVALDI fell behind Juan Pierre, 3-1. And the Phillies went to work. Pierre singled into center. He got to second on the throw to third. Rollins ended up at third. Utley sac fly. Ruiz RBI double. And Nate SCHIERHOLTZ, Darren Ruff adding base hits to finish off the scoring.
Better rhythm, better command of his breaking stuff. So it's good. It's a learning experience, but it's good to see EOVALDI settling in after that first inning. 37 pitches he threw in the first inning.
Well, it's all about making adjustments too, and the lack of experience I think he has now. You know, you see him make these adjustments in game, and it's very encouraging for next year.
That's a great point, and here we are on Kids Sunday. You talk about adjustments. It's one thing to make adjustments in the off season or to make adjustments from game to game, but the really good ones make adjustments within the game.
Within the at-bat, within the inning.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I would go up there, and if something felt a little off, you'd try and tweak it a little bit in game to see if you could correct that problem.
So good to see from a 22-year-old, Nate EOVALDI.
And I'm sure Randy Sinclair was in the dugout after that first inning talking to him about possibly being distracted by the delay at the beginning of the game and telling him, hey, forget about that. You've got a job to do. You got to get out there and start throwing strikes. And he's been filling it up so far
And
after that first inning.
96, 97 with his fastball.
There's the breaking ball, and it's pulled foul, and it's 0-2. Baltimore finishes that first inning with 3 runs. They're going nuts at Camden Yards right now. Jeff, you played there, and for a former Oriole, it has to feel pretty good that the magic is back in a great baseball city.
Really is. Really, really happy for them.
EOVALDI punches out Brown. Phillies lead at 3-0. kid. Of course, last night we had the great highlight of a fan trying to catch a foul ball
in a bucket of
popcorn.
That didn't turn out so well.
No, but it was highly entertaining.
And at that point of the game, we were looking for entertainment.
Watch this.
Well, at least he realized that if I try to catch it with my hand, this is probably going to hurt. So I'll cushion it with the popcorn barrel.
John Buck, Gil Velasquez, and Nathan EOVALDI in the third. Hamels has been perfect. He struck out the side in the first, worked quickly through the second, a pop-up and 2 ground ball outs. And he's got another pop-up here.
Well, one thing that Hamels is really doing well is locating his fastball. I mean, he has a good changeup, but we saw that one pitch to Stanton. He got in on John Buck there.
And I think his fastball is all the more effective because of the fear of his changeup.
Cholula Hot Sauce Spotlight. More in San Diego. Tony Gwynn was his favorite guy. A little surfing, volleyball, country music. Phillies made him the first-round pick back in 2002, the 17th overall. And he'll be a Philly for a long time, you would expect. Velasquez takes a strike.
That was his 20th strike out of 27 pitches in his third inning of work. Nathan EOVALDI's got 61 pitches already.
Velasquez, who was 1 for 4 with an RBI single last night, is behind in the count 0-2.
Tommy, on a Kid Sunday, maybe we can explain why Cole Hamels' changeup is so effective. I mean, what makes a great changeup?
Couple of things. You hear the term with a guy like Hamels that he pitches off his fastball, and you brought that up. He has a good fastball, so as a hitter, you have to be ready for that. And then his arm action, he has the same arm action on the fastball and the changeup, and a changeup's not like a curveball or a slider where you see spin. And when you see arm action, you think fastball and it's a changeup. It's just a devastating pitch. Who was one of the better ones you saw?
Pedro Martinez was one of the best changeups I've ever seen. Trevor Hoffman out in San Diego we called that the Goonie changeup because it was almost like a Nintendo remote control thing. You just couldn't believe that it was not getting to the plate.
He made a great living and will get to the Hall of Fame with that pitch. And when he first got to the big leagues, Jeff, that's not a pitch that really was his feature pitch.
I was, he was here at the Marlins with me after the expansion draft, and this guy was a 95, 96 mile an hour fastball guy with a huge curveball. Didn't even have a changeup. And when he went to San Diego in the trade for Gary Sheffield, is when he learned that pitch and perfected it as well as anyone I've seen, for a right-hander especially.
1-2 pitch. EOVALDI strikes out, and Hamels has been dazzling for the Phillies. 3-0. Premier International Baseball Tournament. Many of Major League Baseball's greatest stars will be competing for their home countries. For more information, go to worldbaseballclassic.com. Japan has won the first 2 World Baseball Classics, though last year's Classics were filled with a lot of surprises along the way. Nathan Eovaldi looks like a completely different pitcher in the second and the third inning as he did in the first. In the first, he gave up 3 runs, faced 8 guys. Since then, he has retired 7 straight, the last out of the first, and zipping through the second and the third.
Boy, just looking at his demeanor on the mound, he looks like he's got so much confidence right now.
Absolutely. Completely different guy out there. I think it'll be fun to watch next year in spring training the progress of Jacob Turner, of Nathan Eovaldi, a couple of young guys. Turner 21, Eovaldi 22.
I think it'll be interesting to see if Josh Johnson builds on this year of health and can get back to maybe not the dominant JJ, but close to it.
We've seen just in this game how Nathan Eovaldi, the first inning, I think, was tentative. Fastball was 93, 94, missing down the middle, and was getting hit really hard. Now he's confident. He's throwing 95, 96. Those extra few miles an hour the guys are behind on, and they're not being able to square that ball up.
And because he's planted that seed of slider and curveball, too.
Got 4 strikeouts. Here's Ruff.
I wonder if Randy St. Clair said something about his pace, too. He's getting back up on the mound, getting the ball, and throwing it very quickly now.
Boy, I think to every pitch, they should have a session in spring training, the pitchers on pace, and have it led by the infielders and outfielders.
How important it is.
You could even ask opposing hitters about that.
Kevin Brown, he had pretty good pace.
Kevin Brown had a good pace. He's only throwing 1 pitch, basically.
He got it and threw it. Yeah.
He got it and threw it.
Here comes a heavy sinker.
Yeah, that was a bowling ball sinker.
2-2 to Ruff. Reyes, little spin, little throw, very nice. Jose Reyes gets Darren Ruff, and there are 2 outs here in the 4th. AT&T trivia.
Hey, we got help today, Rich.
Charlie Manuel hit 4 career home runs. His last was in 1972, off which future Hall of Famer?
Well, Charlie, I think at that time was with Minnesota, with the Twins. So it would be an American League pitcher, Hall of Famer.
Nolan Ryan?
Jim Palmer?
Negative.
2 negatives.
2 negatives.
Future, meaning it was future when he faced him, or future he hasn't gotten in yet?
I think that when he faced him, his future that he's in now.
Into right. That's a base hit. How about Bert? Was Blyleven? I don't think he was in the league at that point.
Well, he was a Twin, but yeah, I don't think he was. I don't think Charlie would have faced him.
This is more your era, Tommy. I can't.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some.
Gaylord Perry.
Trying to think of American League guys.
Craig, you got a guess?
Is Catfish Hunter? Is Jim Hunter in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Craig, I think he just got the bell.
Wow.
There you go.
Very nice. Good job, Craig. You're getting hot at the wrong time, though. The season's almost over.
It's a little late in the year to come up with my first correct trivia answer.
Hamels broke his back, gets a new one. Orr's at first. And Cole's a good athlete, good hitter. He's hit 227, a homer and 5 RBIs.
Yeah, he has 15 hits this year. He's got a nice swing. Well, what'd you say? His idol was Tony Gwynn, growing up in San Diego?
That's right.
Decent hitter.
EOVALDI goes up with a breaking ball and strikes him out. When we return, we'll talk bats. Baseball bats with Jeff Conine on a Kid Sunday. Nissan. Get to Nissan for the biggest savings under the sun at Nissan Summer Saving Days. Visit ChooseNissan.com. By Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. Kids Sunday. Phillies on top 3-0. We check in with Jeff Conine. Niner, what you up to?
Well, tools of the trade. We're going to go over the baseball bat right now. And kids, as you know, every youth baseball league uses one of these. It's an aluminum bat made out of metal. It's an aluminum bat. And all the professional leagues and even some college summer leagues use a wood bat. Now, much more expensive on the first-time investment is an aluminum bat, but they last much longer, much more durable, hit the ball further normally. Wood bat have become very expensive now. That's why a lot of college programs don't use them. The pros spend a lot of money each year on bats because they break a lot, as you've seen probably in a lot of major league games. Now they're starting to be concerned with the safety of the aluminum bat, so they've kind of what they call deadened them. They're now BB core, what they call BB core bat, which is playing a little bit more like wood than it used to. So the balls aren't going quite as far, and it's a little bit more safe for youth leagues. Yeah, they've legislated the ounces to length. I think it can only be 3 ounces less than the length. The one you've got, I believe, is a 3330. Correct. It's called a -3. That's the difference between length and weight. We used to see up to -10s, which is a very thin-walled aluminum bat that generates a lot of bat speed and hits the ball really hard. Okay, how about the cupping? There's some wooden bats that are actually cupped at the end. What explain the science behind that? You're very observant there, Rich. Now, a cup on the end of the bat, see, they take out a chunk of wood, probably weighs about an ounce. The theory behind it, and I always use cup bats, was that it distributed the weight a little more evenly amongst the head. So you don't have quite as much head weight in the bat, you would be distributed a little bit further, and it'd be a much better balance. So you get a heavier bat that felt lighter than it would if it had the wood at the end.
As a kid, in terms of weight and length, what you look for, a heavier bat, a lighter bat? What's the balance? What if I'm a player, a high school player, or a little league player, what am I looking for?
For me, I would always go with the heaviest bat you can swing comfortably and still have good bat speed. If you feel like you're dragging through the zone, the bat might be a little too heavy for you. But I would go as heavy as I could because, you know, you've got more mass, the impact, the ball's going to go further, in my estimation. I used a really heavy bat when I played, 35 inches, 35 ounces. It kind of went down as my age progressed and my career went along, but still fairly heavy at the end. A lot of guys now, Giancarlo Stanton will use a 31-ounce bat, so he's going with the bat speed and working pretty well for him.
And I guess the moral of the story is, even in high school and in Little League, chicks still dig the long ball. Fastball misses up.
Yeah, it's interesting. You don't see it that often. 35-ounce bat nowadays, I'm not sure anybody swings it. Maybe an Alfonso Soriano, maybe somebody like that. But a lot of times, if you could get the length and weight the same, if you could get a 30, 34, 34, or a 33 and a half, 33 and a half, then you have a nice balance in your bat. But the whole key, as Niner said, you can't drag it through the zone. You have to have the bat speed getting through the hitting zone.
1-2 pitch to Peterson. It's inside.
Chuck Shupp, the guy from Louisville Slugger, loved me because, like you said, I almost had an inch an ounce was my most of my bats that I ordered, and it was a very well balanced bat. And he was frustrated because of guys going to such lighter bats, but they wanted a really big head on them that they would complain about getting bad wood. They've got a 34 and a half inch bat that's only 30 or 31 ounces. And they're complaining to him that they're getting bad wood. And he's like, I can't do anything. It's just not a dense enough piece of wood to not dent or break.
So you're going to get better wood if you balance it out that way.
Absolutely. The heavier, the better as far as your wood is concerned.
Words to live by as Peterson around first. And the Marlins have a hit. Their first of the ball game, and it comes with one out here in the fourth inning against a dominating Cole Hamels. Here's the AT&T trivia answer. 72. Charlie's home run, a pinch hit homer. The A's won 7-2, but it was against Jim Catfish Hunter.
And you know what? Catfish Hunter was one of those pitchers that gave up a lot of solo home runs. He wasn't afraid to throw strikes.
Reyes lines it to left. It's going to get to the wall. Peterson digging for third. And he'll be stopped there.
Well, you see, this changeup was elevated. He struck out Jose first at bat on a changeup down, a really good 3-2 changeup. This one elevated a little bit, and that changeup, when it gets up closer toward your eye level, is a much easier pitch to hit.
And all of a sudden, back-to-back hitters with hits. Two of the hardest balls hit so far.
Rollins has one of the best throwing arms. That's if it's a 1-1 game or the Marlins are up a couple runs, maybe he sends them.
Late in the game, tie game, yeah, I think you send it.
But down 3-0.
And you have Stanton coming up here, too.
Against Hamels with one out. Hamels misses outside with a fastball.
Remember, he saw all fastballs. He saw another one there. All fastballs his first time up.
He has hit a couple of home runs against Hamels.
15 strikeouts and 30 at-bats.
And that's certainly what Hamels is looking for here. The infield's back. Outfield is deep as well. Stan busts his bat to third or comes home, and Peterson is tagged out. Boy, Ruiz with the tag. Peterson knocked off balance. And he was running on contact, and a good play by Orr and Ruiz.
Yeah, it was. It took a good play all around. With Peterson going hard and going on contact, Orr has to make a perfect throw and Ruiz right there to put the tag on.
Blocking the plate well. A little surprising Jose Reyes is still at second base. Usually the third base coach will give a sign to the guy at second base saying he is going on contact. So if the ball's on the ground and they think he's going to go home, come on over with him.
You know what? I'm totally surprised too. I moved him over to third on my scorebook, and he's still out there.
Still out there.
Hamels spins and throws it into center field.
Now he's at third.
Wow. That looked like it almost looked like a balk to begin with, and Hamels was off balance when he threw it to second. As graceful a pitcher as he is, it just didn't look right.
Yeah, Jimmy Rollins knew he had to get quick to the base. Hamels threw it behind him. He had no chance of catching that ball.
Carlos Lee's up. 2 outs. And Hamels throws a strike. It's 0-1. Calling a strike. Ozzie Guillen watching the Marlins finally get some base runners against Hamels. But he needs a hit here or something else to actually get runs out of it. Peterson thrown out at the plate. Now the Marlins with second and third and 2 outs. Carlos Lee breaks his bat into right, base hit. Stanton's coming. Brown's throw to the plate, and he's out. Wow! Stanton, Ruiz got to the corner just as Stanton arrived. A real close play.
A lot of times we say this, Rich. My naked eye said he beat it, that he was safe. We'll have to see on the replay.
Marlins get just 1 run out of all of that and have 2 men thrown out at the plate. It looked like Stanton's foot was in before the tag, but a closer look, watch Stanton's foot elevate, and it looks like he misses the plate with his foot.
Tell you what, the guy with the best angles, Dale Scott, home plate umpire, and it does look like he missed the plate. That's why he tried to come and get it with his hand.
And you wonder about the lack of reaction on Stanton's part. He might have known that he kind of missed that plate.
Solano gets a chopper from Rollins and throws to first.
Here's a good shot for kids, since it is Kids Sunday. Once you cross the plate, look at this shot right here. Reyes pointing to Stanton where he wants him to slide.
You can see that Scott waited for the hand, and now he calls him out because the foot had long since crossed, and he waited to see if Ruiz caught the hand of Stanton.
Yeah, you try to judge by a lot of things, and you didn't see Stanton argue. He's a pretty low-key guy anyway, but he didn't say anything, so he must have known that.
All right, here's a question both for a Kid Sunday and just for educational purposes. When did the slide by the bag and try to catch it with your hand become popular at home plate? Because it seems like even guys as big as Stanton here trying to slap it, rather than going right for the plate, they try to finesse the slide around the catcher. Now, is that to avoid collisions? Is that to get around a tag?
I think majority, and Tommy made a great point of your on-deck hitter is your kind of your captain out there directing traffic. He is looking at the play develop and telling you where the throw is coming and which part to slide on. Jose Reyes did a great job of telling him, get to the outside part because the throw is going to be up the line. And I think Stanton did just that. He tried to avoid a tag.
Sometimes by trying to avoid a tag, though, you delay your arrival to the plate, and that allows you to be tagged out.
Yes, you've seen it at second base probably more often than at home plate, where the guy will hook slide, as we say, and then grab it with his hand as he's going by to stop himself almost. But a lot of times, yeah, you're sliding 4 or 5 feet past the bag and giving him a chance to tag you out. One of the greatest evasive slides I've ever seen was Alex Gonzalez in the 2003 World Series. He made that phenomenal slide at home plate, was going around it,
yes,
picked his hand up and then put it down. I don't even know how he did it, or to even think about doing that was an amazing play.
How about the slide, was it a couple of years ago, of Infante?
In Washington.
Yeah.
That needs to be on the 10-run reel. That's something in the offseason that the crack staff's going to have to work on.
Where does the crack staff have their annual meeting, off-season meeting, to get together and work on those things?
Someone's basement.
Yeah, I think the request was Rio, but I believe it'll be in somebody's basement.
Their mom's.
Up in Davie.
Their mom's basement. Generally, it's a meatloaf will be served. The traditional off-season meal.
Mom comes in with the meatloaf.
Dudley's bounced out, has a sacrifice fly. Boy, as much action as the Marlins had on the bases, they got just the one run. The Phillies lead at 3-1, and EOVALDI has turned into the guy that he was in his last 2 starts. After that messy first inning, he's been tough. 39 games he has hits, a .340 average. Solano 0 for 1 in this one, but he's certainly given the Marlins an edge. You can keep your edge with Just for Men, mustache, and beard. Well, the Marlins had 2 men thrown out at the plate in the 4th. They did score a run on the Carlos Lee RBI hit, and here is Solano, and he pushes a bunt foul.
Tell you, the encouraging thing with EOVALDI, he has been just fantastic since that first inning. EOVALDI right now, and it looked like Hamels was going to have 10 or 12 strikeouts. EOVALDI has 7 strikeouts. To Cole Hamels is 4.
Solano's got a base hit. Down the line it goes. Extra bases. Pierre into the corner. Solano to second. And he'll stop there.
10 games in a row for Donovan Solano.
And kids, watch the way Donovan Solano runs the bases right here. He is all out until he knows that outfielder has the ball in his possession and has got a throw coming in. So run as hard as you possibly can until you see, as Juan Pierre picks up that ball and throws it in, he may make a mistake down there. He may bobble it. He may fall down. He has great hustle all the way through just in case he's got a chance to go to third base. It's much easier to slow down than it is to speed up.
And here's one of the oddities of this game. Hamels was perfect through 3, and I mean untouchably perfect through 3. EOVALDI, a real messy first inning. But since the first, EOVALDI's gotten it together. He has struck out 7, and now Hamels has given up 4 hits in the last 5 hitters he's faced.
I'll tell you another thing, psychologically, Cole Hamels knows that the Marlins have beaten him 3 times this year. And it's one of those things you just kind of hang in there close. Solano 17 for 36 during his 10-game hitting streak.
Average at 301 now. I'm sure he'd love to end his rookie campaign over 300.
Where are you right now, Niner, in the Donovan Solano camp? Can he play every day at second base?
He's shown me over this sample size he can definitely play second base every day. I mean, you look at what he's done defensively as well. I think he's done a fine job defensively. He's handled the bat well. He's been hitting to all fields. Right now, for me, going into spring training, he's a front runner as my second baseman.
Buck sends that one to center field. It should be deep enough to move Solano. SCHIERHOLTZ has a good arm. He shows it off. But Solano trots in and arrives at third. 1 out. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, Rudy Warshawski is with us. He was honored before the game. He was in the 101st Airborne. Got this beautiful jersey from David Sampson and some sand from Iwo Jima. Congratulations, Mr. Veteran.
Thank you, thank you.
How neat was it? You were honored here on the field, and you were at Normandy and involved in one of the most courageous battles ever in our history.
I think I was more nervous on the field than I was in Normandy. I didn't have time to think in Normandy. Just was ready to go to work, and that was it. It was something that I never thought I'd do today. I have never spoken about it up till about 8-10 years ago. My whole family knew nothing about it at all, where I was and
why
I got hurt. I had too much in my mind I didn't want to bring up, things that I was trying to forget, and I became an alcoholic, prescription drug addict. And I'm telling any of these veterans, if you go to the store, don't do what I did. Go to the VA and get help. I didn't go to the VA. I thought I could help myself by drinking and putting drugs in my body. It's not worth it. And I'm telling you, you'll be sorry if you ever do.
I'm glad you've turned things around and you have that message for everybody. And I'm glad you've been honored, too, by the Marlins today. And you got a lot of family here, too.
Shirt, beautiful shirt. And it took a lot for me to do this. I did it because my kids wanted me to do it, and I never wanted to do it. But I'm glad I did it now.
All right, Rudy, congratulations. I know the family's enjoying it. And one other thing, guys. Anna Laurie is from the French consulate office. And France now will be looking at potentially making him a designated citizen.
Yeah, we will be happy to assist him with his application for the French Legion of Honor to thank him for what he made during World War II.
All right, thank you. Nice to have the French Legion of Honor perhaps too in store for Rudy. Way to go.
Beautiful shirt, man. Well, can't beat it.
Look at it. Good.
All right. Look at
that
that.
to the camera. The camera's right over there on the right.
Yeah. It even has my name.
It should. Back to you guys.
Great stuff out there.
Very good. Very nice.
Miami trying to score this run. Solano's at third. The infield's in. Gil Velasquez against Cole Hamels. The count's 2-2. Breaking ball. He doesn't offer.
This is where Hamels is really thinking strikeout.
Well, he's got the natural escape hatch there with EOVALDI on deck. If you can just get Velasquez. Solano double. The fly ball by Buck. Hamels protecting a 2-run lead. In the dirt. Velasquez trots down to first, and here comes EOVALDI. All you can eat seats include a game ticket, unlimited hot dogs, nachos, peanuts, popcorn, soda, and water for just $24. The final all you can eat game of the season is coming up tomorrow. Marlins and Mets at 7:10. Get your order online at marlins.com for the all you can eat seats.
We got the all-you-can-eat seats. We have one more email Twitter Tuesday.
And then closing day. Now Ruiz is out to talk to Hamels, and EOVALDI is down talking to Joe Espada.
Now, a lot of this, you could see EOVALDI in a situation trying to drop down a sacrifice bunt to move Velasquez over to second. But in the meantime, as we've talked about and seen a few times this year, you have Solano at third, and if he drops that bunt up the third baseline, things could get exciting.
Marlins have used this safety squeeze quite well. There's the bunt, first base side. Here he comes, and it just rolls foul.
And that would have really been exciting had it stayed fair.
Well, that was close. Hamels kept waiting and waiting for it to just get to the foul side of the line.
See Donovan Solano right here, kind of coming down the line with that third baseman. He's going to shadow him until plays develop. Cole Hamels, I think, does a good job here of waiting till this ball is just foul.
Wow.
Does not want that thing to come back fair.
That was close, and with the count 0-1, let's see if he does it again. Orr was really charging from third. And Hamels misses up. Now this time Orr held back, and that allows the Phillies to keep Solano closer to third than they did on that first pitch.
And it allows the hitter a little more space to drop a bunt down up the third baseline.
EOVALDI misses on the bunt. Now the Marlins have already had 2 runners thrown out at the plate.
That's a tougher read for a rookie pitcher that is probably not very comfortable bunting. You almost want to read the defense as you're squaring around before the pitch is on the way. So I don't know if he can really see that Orr is playing way back.
Takes up. The Phillies now are just crashing at first with Ruff, and Orr is staying back at third, and that's really keeping Solano tight to the bag. It's going to take a really good bunt to score him.
And with 2 strikes, he's just going to try to lay it down. He can't be too perfect. Can't try to get it right up that line.
And he fouls it off, and that's a strikeout. Today's Subway Sub Prize on the line. The American League East race. Baltimore and New York playing right now. Baltimore has a 5-1 lead over Boston. That's in Baltimore in the bottom of the 4th. Brett Lawrie has just hit a 2-run upper deck homer in Toronto. 5-1 Blue Jays over the Yankees, bottom 5th. The Rays have scored first in Chicago. They have a 2-0 lead over the White Sox. The Rays are running out of time because Oakland is playing so well. Rays are 4 back in the wild card race. Dodgers are 3.5 games back in the wild card race. Or excuse me, the Angels. Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Texas with a 3-run lead over the Angels, and Zach Greinke in the 5th inning.
Tigers are just underway in Minnesota, scoreless in the bottom of the 2nd. Detroit's lead is 2 over the White Sox. And so all the things that the Marlins have done well in this inning, and even in the 4th inning, they still have only 1 run to show for it. And now they've got Gorkys Hernandez hitting all of 175 at the plate with 2 outs and behind in the count 0-2.
One thing they've done, they've upped that pitch count of Cole Hamels, though, last couple of innings.
First 3, he was really cruising. He had about 30 pitches through 3 innings.
And Hernandez strikes out. He's 0 for 3 in the ball game, and Miami leaves 2 more out on the bases. Ozzie Guillen, a 3-1 Phillies lead. Nathan Eovaldi goes back to work. The Marlins with great opportunities in the 4th. They had 2 men thrown out at the plate in the 4th inning. They end up leaving 2 men on base as Cole Hamels struck out a pair to end the inning. And so Eovaldi to Carlos Ruiz, and it's fouled back and out of play. Now Eovaldi has struck out 2 Phillies in each of the last 3 innings. He has 7 strikeouts total. That's just 1 shy of his career high, which was set in his last start when he punched out 8. So as the season is ending, Eovaldi is really finding a nice groove. The big hiccup, of course, in this ball game was that 1st inning. The 1st inning in which the Phillies had 4 hits. The leadoff walk to Rollins. Marlins missed a tag play at second base. A liner over Solano into right field. Stanton picks it up. Ruiz has his 5th hit of the series.
He can just flat out hit. He is a good hitter.
He'll have a nice conversation down there now with Carlos Lee. Talk about things in Panama.
You know, the thing about Ruiz, when he got to the big leagues, he wasn't such a great hitter. His big breakout year was 2010 when he hit .302 and had an on-base percentage of .400. Last year he hit .283. But his first few years with the Phillies, he was buried in the lineup. He was hitting 8th and 7th.
Yeah, he was splitting time a little bit when I was there in 2006. He wasn't even the full-time catcher.
Dominic Brown pulls one foul. Brown is lined out and struck out. Oh, 2. And it's up.
I think the way Nathan has finished up with these last 2 starts, this start, he's shown some really good stuff. The Marlins are going to be pretty confident in throwing him in the mix for that rotation next year.
I think that helps his confidence, too, when he comes to spring training.
Brown lifts that one foul. Pitch count right at 100. 37 pitches in the first inning.
Since then, it's been outstanding.
Yeah, it's been incredible.
And all that with 7 strikeouts. Usually when you see that many strikeouts in a limited number of innings, you've got a high pitch count just because of the strikeouts, but unfortunately it was because of hits.
To right, Stanton waving off Solano.
Well, one of the things that's helped, he's walked only 1, and that was the first batter he faced, and maybe the best move of the game was the move by Jimmy Rollins to find out what was wrong with that fence out there, which turned out to be nothing.
I'm sure if you asked Nate EOVALDI if that really bothered his concentration, he'd probably say no, but you got to wonder. It's been 2 different pitchers from that first inning until now.
Yeah, I agree. He will say no, but you know, subconsciously, maybe it had an effect.
Nate Schierholtz, RBI single in the first. EOVALDI struck him out in the 4th. Runner goes and Schierholtz swings and fouls it out of play. Schierholtz grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area over in the East Bay. Ended up with the San Francisco Giants. Part of that World Championship team. Back in 2010, the Giants, of course, back in the postseason this year. And a scary team with their rotation.
What consideration, Rich, will we've been talking about the different awards. Where will Bruce Bochy fall as far as manager of the year? He probably won't win, but he's done a nice job there this year.
He's done a very nice job.
Yeah.
He has always kind of had a hodgepodge of veterans around the positions, built around, of course, the starting rotation. Lee gets an out there, and Reyes will settle for the out at second.
We brought this up last night, I think it was. Carlos Lee's done a nice job in making that play. You know, stepping inside the line, good throw to second. Especially when you know you don't have a chance for double play. You better be sure to get that out at second.
Darren Ruff, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Eovaldi's breaking ball catches the corner. And just like that, it's 0-2. The Mets here tomorrow night. It's a Josh Johnson start for the Fish. One hopper. Velasquez knocks it down and then throws across the diamond and gets rough. So Eovaldi with 5 shutout innings after the 3-run first. It's 3-1 Phillies. Three in the first. Nathan Eovaldi was shaky. Cole Hamels was dynamite. Then the Marlins got to Hamels for a run in the fourth, but had 2 men thrown out at the plate. Threatened in the fifth, and Hamels got out of that as well. That's your JM Lexus reset on a Kids Sunday. Rich Waltz along with Jeff Conine and Tommy Hutton and Cole Hamels as he goes to work on Brian Peterson. Now Jeff Conine has talked throughout the day about equipment. He went through catcher's masks, catcher's helmets, then he went through bats, and right now we're talking baseball gloves, and we've got a variety of gloves in here. Niner, you want to start with the one you've got?
Yeah. This is a position I played about half and half of my career as first base, and you see the definite different design of a first baseman's glove, designed to scoop balls out of the dirt, really deep pocket, so in that tagging situation it stays in that pocket, and quite different than what Tommy's got on his hand.
Peterson lifts one in the air. Rollins is out. Pierre is in. Our friends at Players Edge Baseball Academy gave us the gear to use on the show. You can see
I have the outfield glove. You have the smaller. I have the outfield glove, which you can see has the webbing you can see through. A pitcher will have a big glove like this, but this will be closed up. You won't see this kind of webbing. But the outfield glove, much bigger than the glove that Rich has as a middle infielder, much smaller. So the outfielder make those long catches, maybe a stab, have to reach for a ball. So that's why the outfield glove has that deep pocket, much bigger.
Reyes drops down a bunt. It's a good one. Hamels airmails it. Down the line it goes, and off to the races goes Reyes. Brown picks it up, and Reyes ends up with a bunt hit and an E1.
The second error for Cole Hamels this afternoon.
And once again, the Marlins have a runner in scoring position.
Nicely done by Reyes. Really no chance. Bad choice by Hamels to throw. He didn't have a chance. He ends up throwing it away.
Here comes Giancarlo Stanton.
So, Rich, you can explain the reason for the infield glove being so small.
As a middle infielder, I like to have a smaller glove because you need to be able to get in and out of the glove when you turn the double play. Up the middle, some third basemen will use bigger gloves than this, but up the middle, as a middle infielder, the ability to get it in and get it out right away to turn the double play is very important. And that's why you have a shorter glove with shorter fingers on it than, say, the outfield glove, where, Tommy, as an outfielder, you need to scoop balls in terms of on the run and obviously as much length as you can for catches.
This would be tough to get it in and out and turn a double play.
Yeah, the pocket isn't as deep on a middle infielder's glove either as it would be on a first base or outfield.
Here's the pocket of the middle infielder glove. Not as deep as Niners.
Yeah, this one's deep.
There was a second baseman in the 70s, a guy named Dick Green, who used to turn double plays with the outside of his glove. Reyes with a steal, and he's in there. Or with the tag, felt Reyes came off the bag. But Jose Reyes gets a stolen base. He's got 38 now.
Good timing, good jump. He clearly beats it, but Orr was arguing that he came off the bag.
Might have a little bit of an argument here. You see his foot. Oh, if the tag was still on, he definitely came off the bag.
Now Stanton, with one out, pops it up, and that's not going to get the job done. The infield was back. A ground ball would have scored the run. Obviously a fly ball to the outfield as well. But Hamels has been able to maneuver his way out of trouble in the 4th, in the 5th, and now he just needs one out here in the 6th.
You saw that fastball right there by Cole Hamels. I think it was just a BP fastball. It's 89 miles an hour. He's been pounding Giancarlo with 92, 93 mile an hour fastballs. I think he took just enough off of it to get him out in front to pop it up.
Yeah, it wasn't a changeup. It wasn't his normal fastball. These are some nice gloves from Rawlings.
These are nice gloves.
Did you use Rawlings? I used Rawlings.
Early on, I used Rawlings, then I switched to Louisville. Louisville started making a really nice glove, and stayed with them throughout my whole career.
Mizuno GIC5, that was the middle infield glove of choice back in the 80s.
Mizuno makes a great glove.
Wilson always made a nice infield glove.
For an all-round glove for kids, I would say not quite as big as an outfielder's glove, but probably a little bigger than a middle infielder's glove they could take to multiple positions and use at different spots in the field.
Which I know you've always instructed the kids you coach. I instructed kids, my kids, play as many positions as you can.
Expose yourself to every position you possibly can for whatever coach you have, because you never know when you're going to be called on to play that position.
Carlos Lee up there, and Hamels buries that changeup. You got Solano on deck. Marlins once again with a runner standing at third base. Once again, Hamels trying to get out of it. Lee fouls it back. Two and two to Carlos Lee. Hamels goes in. And it's 3-2. Bottom 6, 3-1 Phillies. Strike 3 called. Lee doesn't like the call. Dale Scott rings him up. Hamels gets the strikeout. And the Marlins once again leave a runner in scoring position. A day of frustration for the Fish. Hamels and the Phillies on top, 3-1. Play at the plate. Now this looked like, at first look, Stanton beat the tag of Carlos Ruiz. But watch the foot. It kind of bounced up and went over the plate, and he tried to tag it with his left hand. Dale Scott was on it, and Dale Scott rung him up. No argument from Stanton or Reyes or Ozzie Guillen for that matter. That's the Coors Light freeze cam. And it's been that kind of day for the Fish. 3-1. Phillies on top. Nathan EOVALDI gives way to Dan Jennings.
Dan Jennings, one of the nice young prospects coming up in the Marlins system. You see his numbers there. Pretty decent numbers.
He came on last night, had a 1-2-3 inning. Came on to pitch to lefties. When in fact Charlie Manuel went to his bench and he retired 3 right-handers.
Kevin Franzen's going to hit for Pete Orr. Franzen, then Hamels, then Rollins. And Jennings, the University of Nebraska, blows a fastball by him. 5-2. Blue Jays lead the Yankees. That game is in the 7th, and they're just going wild in Baltimore because Baltimore has a 6-1 lead over the Red Sox. That's top of the 6th. If those scores hold, Baltimore has a 1-game lead with 3 left.
Boy, a city that's been dying for a winner for a long time.
I got there in 1999 and they went wire to wire in 97. Had a phenomenal season 1997 and ended up losing to the, I believe the Indians knocked them out in the playoffs, or maybe it was the Yankees, but have not had a winner since.
Well, here's the trick. Baltimore, say the scores do hold, and Baltimore ends up with a game lead with 3 to play. Baltimore plays the Rays the last 3 games, and the Yankees get the Red Sox, which is an easier go of it for the Yankees for sure.
You think so, and talent and all that tells you that, but then you go back to the old Yankee-Red Sox.
Red Sox rivalry.
And the Red Sox, I mean, this could be their last hurrah. This could be their one chance to save their season. That's how you'd like to present it to that ball club.
I tell you what, in 2003, it was the Yankees-Red Sox in the ALCS. A friend of mine was in New York, was at that game that Aaron Boone hit the walk-off home run, and he talked to me the next day as we're arriving in New York, and he said, "You guys are going to win." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You're going to win. They just had their World Series. It was the Yankees Red Sox. They were just emotionally spent after that series because it is such a huge rivalry." And I think you're right, Tommy. I think even a subpar Red Sox team could rise up and play the Yankees really tough.
And of course, the Red Sox will be in for some changes in the offseason.
You looking up where that series is going to take place? Be at home in Boston.
Three-two count. Cole Hamels facing Dan Jennings. Nathan Eovaldi goes 6. And Hamels strikes out. So Jennings gets the first 2. And now he'll face Rollins. All my sons moving in storage poll question. Will Miguel Cabrera win the Triple Crown? Obviously the toughest is going to be the home runs. Tied with Josh Hamilton coming into play today.
No scoring right now. Detroit in Minnesota. So nothing off the bat of Miggy yet.
Miggy's last 3 games will be against the Kansas City Royals, where Josh Hamilton's last 3 games will be against the Oakland A's.
Rollins up there with 2 outs and nobody on. Jennings with the 1-0 pitch. St. Louis 5-0 over Washington. That's a Detweiler start for the Nationals. Carlos Beltran with a 2-run homer.
Once again, the St. Louis Cardinals are doing that thing they do. They squeak into the playoffs and don't have a great record right now, but they got the personnel, I think, that could really do some damage in the postseason.
You know, we've been talking about all of a sudden he's had a couple of starts now under his belt. Chris Carpenter, he could go on a roll.
Kyle
Loesch is
16-3.
He's in that Cy Young conversation.
For Carlos Beltran, his 31st home run of the season. I know he's not Albert Pujols, but he's done a nice job of replacing some of the production there.
And they have some great, not big names. Alan Craig, David Freese, who just went crazy in postseason last year. Holiday's
over 100 RBIs again this year.
Yadier Molina.
John Jay had a big sacrifice fly last night. Pierre swings and hits it out in the left. Peterson is there and he makes the catch. Jennings a scoreless 7. 7th inning stretch in Miami, close to 30,000 here today. 3-1 Phillies. 17 here today. You can place a deposit and secure your seats at Marlins Park for the 2013 season today. Flexible and easy payment options. Get the best seats available. Take advantage of the new Season Ticket Rewards Plus program, giving you the option to exchange unused tickets for merchandise, VIP experiences, and more. Call 1-877-MARLINS. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, thank you. Donovan Solano is putting together one of the best seasons for any Marlins rookie hitter. His average is over 300. He told me before the game, hey, that's what you shoot for. Every hitter wants to hit over 300. He says, I got 4 more games to do it. And he's helping his cause here in this game. He's 1 for 2. Look at the numbers for all the rookie hitters in Marlins history. It's led by Mike Redmond, who hit 331. That's the best average ever for a Marlin rookie. Chris Coughlin hit 321. Then you got Berg, Renneria, Solano over that 300 mark. Rob Brantley with a lot less at bats making a run. And look who's tied for 9th there. Hanley Ramirez. Oh, no. I mean Jeff Conine with that 292 mark. Niner, I'm wondering, in your year of 1993, were you thinking 300 at all as you got to September? Try and finish with that number.
Oh, absolutely. Like Donovan Solano said, that's a number that not many major leaguers hit. Not many guys hit 300 during a season, and it's always a goal, I think, for any hitter to kind of reach that milestone in a season. And I do remember a reporter coming up to me with about 3 games to go saying, hey, you need to go 5 for 8 to end up the season hitting 300. And after I got off of him, I said, don't ever say that to me ever again.
I like the fact that Donovan Solano is aware of it, and he's confident that he can get there. The interesting thing in his minor league career, there's Franson staying in the game at 3rd. In the Cardinals organization, his minor league career average was 260.
Some guys figure it out. They just get that confidence, and they figure out how to make those adjustments that we were talking about earlier in a game. They adjust to the pitching that they're facing. He had a phenomenal spring training, I think, which gave him a lot of confidence. But I think this year in AAA, he was hitting about 260 when he got called up.
Well, Ruiz is one of those guys we talked about whose big league numbers now are more robust than his minor league numbers, especially the last 3 years from 2010 through now.
That's the beauty of this game. I would say most of the time that doesn't translate, and that's not the case, but there are times that it does.
Solano goes down on strikes. Hamill's still looking strong. Look where Ruiz sets up.
Down and away. A little bit up, but he stays right with it.
One to John Buck, who was popped out, flied out. Cole Hamels is looking for win number 17. This is his final start of 2012.
Hamels, a 3-time All-Star. He was an All-Star this year. And he's come on strong the second half of the season.
Just that devastating changeup.
Well, I tell you, with the big 3 in Philly, as far as their starting staff is, it's got to be a pretty boring proposition to be a member of the Phillies bullpen, huh? These guys don't even think about getting started till the 7th or 8th inning with those 3 guys on the mound.
I know the last couple of years, their starting staff has led the league in innings pitched. So consequently, their bullpen, I'm not quite sure this year, but that translates into a stronger, a better bullpen because you're not bringing guys in the 4th and 5th inning all the time.
Buck sends that one into shallow right field. Dominic Brown is there to make the catch. 2 outs.
Niner, you've talked to all the outfielders, other teams, the Marlins. Seems like everybody's adjusted pretty well. inside with the roof closed, judging fly balls?
Yeah, I've been out there myself shagging fly balls, and I really have not had any problem picking the ball up in this roof. I think they intentionally made it the color they did so the ball stands out against it. You look up and there's a lot of girders and beams everywhere, but for the most part, really good visuals on the baseball.
Velasquez now. Hamels trying to put 7 solid in the books. 8 strikeouts, just a walk. Nathan Eovaldi lasted 6 innings, 3 runs, 6 hits, and Eovaldi had 7 strikeouts. Catches the corner, and it's 1-1. Mike Dunn in Miami's bullpen. Velasquez to right center. Brown is there, and he makes the catch. 1-2-3 go the fish. Hamels keeps cruising. It's 3-1. Last night, Friday night, 28,000. Another 28 here. And Mike Dunn takes over for Dan Jennings. Dunn gets the 8th. He'll enter with Utley, Ruiz, and Dominic Brown coming up.
Dunn came in last night. A couple of base runners, a base hit, a walk. Those base runners came in to score later in the inning. So Dunn was charged with a couple of runs.
Mike Trout has homered.
What a phenomenal year. 30-30.
It's 4-3 Texas right now in the bottom of the 7th in Arlington. Remember, that's the first of a doubleheader. And Trout has a couple of hits, including a home run. Toyota trend in the ball game today. We focus in on the Phillies. With a win, the Phillies will win the season series 10-8 for the 11th time in the Marlins' 20-year history.
And a win will put Charlie Manuel's crew a game over 500.
The Phillies headed up to Washington, D.C. to take on the Nationals.
Utley doesn't swing at too many first pitches.
He doesn't.
That was a surprise.
Yeah. That's what we call trying to ambush somebody. He knows he's probably going to get a fastball, and sometimes you cheat a little bit on a guy that can really throw the ball hard.
He got a fastball there, and he hit it hard, but foul. Yankees are down a run, 5-4 in Toronto, and rallying in the 7th. Baltimore's lead has been cut to 6-3 in the 7th over Boston. Baltimore and the Yankees tied for first.
That's a good pitch. That's a pitch that in order for Mike Dunn to stay here consistently and have success, he's got to have something that's a little slower than the fastball and the slider. A little breaking ball. It was about 76, 77 miles an hour. He needs that pitch, especially against left-handed hitters.
Yeah, as a hitter, if you keep seeing the same velocity all the time, your timing is going to be right on that stuff. You need something that really slows your reaction down. We saw that graphic on Chase Utley. Only 9% of the time as he swinging at the first pitch.
Yeah, perception was correct.
I bet you I was 90% of the time. I love the first pitch.
Utley lines one into center field, a base hit. That's his 3rd hit of the series, first of the day. He drove in a run with the sacrifice fly in the 1st. And now here comes Carlos Ruiz. Coors Light cold hard fact. Phillies against the East, first time since '02 with a losing record versus their own division. Let's strike that. It should be 27-31, the record.
Every once in a while, the crack staff has a little blip.
I was about to say, I think in our country, 31-27 is a winning record.
September call-up, I think, in the truck.
Gaining confidence, though, learning by the mistake.
Short turnaround. 4-hour game and a day game today.
Great pitch.
0-2. Breaking ball, ground ball, a foul ball. The play was called by Dale Scott because Carlos Lee fielded that ball in front of first base.
Yeah, anything before the bag is a home plate umpire's call. You saw the first base umpire. You might be wondering, well, why not him make the call? He's standing there, Mark Wegner, getting the good look, but up until it gets to the bag, it's the home plate ump's call.
One is in. Antonio Bastardo in the bullpen. Dunn's 1-2, a throw to first, and Utley's back in. This was a Nathan Eovaldi start for the Fish. Cole Hamels going for the Phils. Hamels has 7 in the books. He's been splendid. 8 strikeouts. Marlins have just a run on 5 hits. Eovaldi wasn't bad. Saved the 3-run first. There was about a 3-minute delay before the first pitch as the umpiring crew tried to discern whether there was a gap in the wall in left center. As it turns out, nothing has changed out there. They were just maybe unfamiliar with the fact that that panel, that scoreboard panel, ends. There's a mesh fence in front of it, just like there is all the way across the out-of-town scoreboard. But for some reason, the umpires didn't know that, and they checked and asked if someone could fix it. That may have gotten under Eovaldi's skin. Ruiz bangs it into right field. The young right-hander came out unsteady in the first inning. He walked Rollins, fell behind Pierre, who had a 3-1 single to center, and then it was on for the Phillies, who would get 3 runs in the first. And after that, Eovaldi was very, very good.
Well, he was exceptional after that. A struggle now for Mike Dunn. 3rd base hit for Carlos Ruiz today.
Dominic Brown's 0 for 3. Brown gets into that one, left center field. Gorky Hernandez, full flight, calls for it, makes the catch. Deep enough for Utley to score easily. And the Phillies have stretched their lead to 4-1.
Tell you what, that's where the Phillies have really dominated the Marlins in this series. The last 2 games especially is being able to get that guy in from third base. The Marlins have had multiple opportunities today and just have not been able to cash in on them.
Second sac fly for the Phillies today.
Schierholtz now. He knocked in a run with a single in the first. 8 hits now for the Phillies. Phillies trying to finish above 500 for the 10th consecutive year, and that would be an all-time record in franchise history, one of the oldest franchises in all of baseball. The Braves lead the Mets 4-1 in Atlanta. And that's a Chris Medlin start. He has pitched 6 innings, an unearned run, and 3 hits. Into right, Stanton will pick it up. And he will hold Schierholtz to a single. That chases Ruiz on to third. And it's not been an easy inning right now for Mike Dunn. He's not missing many bats.
On the thing too, the lefty Utley got a base hit, the lefty Dominic Brown a sac fly, and the left-hander Nate Schierholtz a line drive single.
I think it goes back to what you were saying, Tommy, about not having a pitch that really gets them off of his hard stuff. They know he's probably experimenting with it, and they're looking for something hard, and fastball doesn't move a whole lot.
We'll take a timeout. 4-1 Phillies. Craig Minervini.
Rich, on September 25th against Ross Detweiler, this guy, Darren Ruff, got his first major league hit, and it came on a home run for the Phillies here. And, you know, last week Donovan Solano got that first home run, and he had the very short 20-second silent treatment. Well, Ruff goes into the Phillies dugout and gets the silent treatment even from the ball boy, who's right there, not talking to him. The Phillies silent treatment lasted, it's got to be a record, 4 minutes and 55 seconds.
That's classic. He didn't even bat an eye. It wasn't a smirk or nothing.
Ball on a hop. Velasquez has the runner Ruiz caught in a rundown. Ruiz trying to run into somebody, pick up an interference call, and this is finally Reyes tagging him out, and the Marlins fail to really execute the rundown play. Anytime it takes you more than 3 throws, you've not done your job.
Yeah, when you allow all the runners to move up another 90 feet, then you've not gotten it done quickly. It's a good thought by Velasquez.
Well, as you're taught, kids.
Yeah, this is great on Kids Sunday.
This is great. You're supposed to be able to get that runner running full speed. You saw Velasquez get rid of that ball, and Chooch was just kind of down the line tempting him to throw it. So you run out that runner, get him going as fast as you can. It should be over in 1 throw.
5-2, 5-3, 6. They finally got it to the fast guy. Told Reyes just to catch Ruiz.
Franzen up. The one thing on that play, a bit surprised that Velasquez didn't just throw to second and try to get a 5-4-3 double play.
The rough doesn't run that well. I think he thought about it. The ball wasn't hit sharply, and that was the only thing maybe that got him thinking going to home. Good job by Carlos Lee to get involved, come all the way into home plate.
So Ryan Webb gets an out. He needs another with Kevin Franzen up there. Ruff at second. Schierholtz the runner at third. One and two.
Kevin Franzen's got some serious pine tar working on him. Helmet, top of his jersey.
Fouls that one back to the screen. Franzen, a low liner that Solano spears, and the inning is over. So Webb comes in and finishes for Dunn. 4-1 Phillies. are on top of the Marlins. Some defensive changes. John Mayberry Jr. is out in center field.
Yeah, looks like he moved SCHIERHOLTZ over to right field.
And that pushes Brown over to left field.
And it also brings in Antonio Bastardo.
Bastardo, 2-5 with a 4.32 ERA.
See the walks there, 25 walks. Probably contributing to that ERA because he's only got a 2.09 opponent's batting average against, which is very low.
Now, this is a Kids Sunday, and the emphasis this Sunday has been on equipment. And we've done the bats, the gloves, catching equipment. Now we're looking at spikes here. This is the metal spike, a nice New Balance model. They've added a little bit of a plastic cleat on the toe. This is more of the traditional, but that's becoming more popular too.
It is definitely for youth baseball. They're allowed and only allowed to wear plastic spikes. You're seeing them become much more popular with major league players as well. The configuration of the plastic spikes now are given much better traction than they used to. Much more comfortable on your feet, especially with hard ground. So you see a lot of guys might wear these during a game as well.
Has footwear changed as much as gloves have over the last 20?
Without question. Without question. And also years ago you used to have turf shoes when you had a number of ballparks that were AstroTurf. You'd have a different kind of shoe for that.
Yeah, a lot of the turf fields you really wouldn't want to wear spikes on because it really was hard on your feet, on your legs. You wanted as comfortable a shoe as you could possibly get.
And you couldn't, with the old turf, like St. Louis, Cincinnati, you couldn't, with the metal spikes, really get a grip on a hard carpet. That's changed, though, with field turf, because field turf acts a lot like grass. So at a place like St. Pete at the Trop up in Toronto, you can get by with some of the metal spikes, though a lot of players do go for the plastic molded look.
And when that old turf used to get real hot, that's why it was tough wearing metal spikes.
It would literally burn through those metal spikes up into your feet. Ever played a day game in St. Louis and had those the ice buckets up the tunnel so you could go basically soak your feet in between innings?
Chase Utley wins the jump ball and makes the catch in front of Mayberry.
Here's one that's a great play for kids right here. The middle infielder is going back, and Chase Utley's calling for that ball. You've kind of been taught as an infield not to call for this ball because you see Mayberry running up behind it. He can't hear him. He can't hear what he's saying. He can't hear that he's talking, I got it, I got it, I got it. And they're both talking at the same time.
Yeah, because Mayberry, you can see his lips moving. He's calling.
They're almost synchronized there. So middle infielders don't say anything and listen for the outfielder. They have the priority over that play right there. And if you're not saying anything, you're more apt to be able to hear them calling it from behind you.
Middle infielder, you can kind of hold your arms out the way Utley did. But if you're quiet, you can hear the outfielder if he's coming in.
Yeah, you're hoping to visually give the outfielder a cue by waving your arms around saying, I got it, I got it, I got it, without saying it.
Gorkys Hernandez at the plate. He's 0 for 3 in this ball game. It's been a tough go of it for Hernandez, getting his first real extended playing time in the big leagues, hitting just 174. Marlins Live presented by Checkers. The set will be filled with information and highlights and Craig Minervini.
They'll be talking about Mike Trout being the youngest ever 30-30 man. 30 home runs, 48 stolen bases this year.
That's amazing. Only 20 years old.
20 years old.
20 years old.
Bastardo going with the high pants and showing lots of sock. Got the Liberty Bell logo on the sock.
See, everybody else, you can't see that because they're wearing the longer pants.
Hernandez swings and misses, and he strikes out for the 3rd time in the ball game. Postseason is less than a week away. It starts with a wild card game on TBS on October 5th. Catch all the postseason on Fox and TBS. Brian Peterson now. He is 1 for 3, and Bastardo is picking up right where Hamels left off. Hamels 7 innings. And the Marlins managing just a run on 5 hits. Reyes on deck, but Bastardo with the count 1-1 on Peterson.
Crack staff helping us out with Mike Trout's age. He's 21, but he turned 21 in August, so he's played most of the season as a 20-year-old.
Out of Millville, New Jersey, first-round pick of the Angels back in 2009.
Bio says 6'1", 210, but he looks bigger than that. He looks like a pretty big guy.
He's built, yeah.
It's a rare combination of that kind of power and speed.
Down goes Peterson. Bastardo, 1, 2, 3, 8. Bell appears for the Fish. And the Marlins fell behind early in this ball game. A 3-run first against Nathan EOVALDI. EOVALDI then tightened up and pitched very well from that point on. Cole Hamels was dominant in his first 3 innings. And the Marlins had a lot of opportunities. In fact, they had 2 men thrown out at the plate. And were only able to get just the 1 run off of Hamels. Hamels is all lined up now to finish his season with win number 17. As the Phillies come to hit here in the 9th. Hamels' ERA down to 3.05. And that's where he will end his season.
And extends his, if it holds up, his career high in wins. He'll end up with 17.
Mayberry came in the double switch. He's up first. Then you've got Rollins. Then you've got the pitcher spot, which was Pierre's old spot, number 2 in the order. And for Bell, obviously a very trying 2012. A rocket hammered into the.
You know, we've talked about it, Rich, and you look at the breakdown. Heath Bell with an ERA of 6.75 the first half of the season. The second half, an ERA of 3 in his 30 outings. And in 11 appearances in the month of September, he's really put it together. The ERA 0.90. There's a couple of things you read into that. Less pressure second half of the season because he hasn't been closing games. He's been in different situations.
The very public spat with his manager Ozzie Guillen when the ball club was in Atlanta. Kind of put a cap on the year for Bell and maybe for the Marlins as well, summing up the entire season in just that 3-day sequence when the ball club was in Atlanta. Mayberry fights that one off, and it counts 2-2.
But if Heath Bell's going to be in the Marlins' plans, and there's no reason to believe he won't, you hope that he gets back to his form that he was as San Diego Padre when he led the league in saves for 3 straight years.
You know, in a while back, I think we said this, Rich, if in fact that were to happen, all of a sudden the Marlins bullpen is in good shape at the back end of the bullpen because you have the experience of a Heath Bell back in the form that he once was, you hope, with San Diego, and then you have Steve Cishek, who's gained a lot of experience this year and has the ability to close games because you found that out.
And how good a 8th inning setup man would he be?
Yeah.
That's the if, though. Here's the 2-2. And a swing and a miss. And so Bell gets Mayberry. Here comes Rollins. But you're right, going into spring training. Now Bell has 2 more years on a rather large contract. So it would not be a surprise if he's in spring training with the Marlins battling for that closer role. I don't think after this season anything will be handed to anybody at just about any position. I mean, when you lose over 90 games, everything is open for competition. Nice catch there. Giancarlo Stanton in right field. Of all the guys wearing a Marlin uniform, Stanton in right, Reyes at short, those are the guys that are pretty much guaranteed jobs and guaranteed spots. Solano certainly has earned the right to be considered for the second base job. Ruggiano has earned the right to be in the mix in the outfield. Bonifacio, the Marlins feel probably going to be out in center field.
I think sometimes there's too much complacency in spring training and not enough competition. I think competition in spring training gets you ready for the season.
The hulking Lance Nix. And he takes a strike. Papelbon, who had somewhat of a shaky finish last night in the 9-5 win, up in the bullpen. If the Phillies don't score here, it would be a safe situation. The Yankees have come back to take the lead in Toronto in the 8th, 6-5. Baltimore 6-3 over Boston, bottom 8. St. Louis beating the Nationals 7-4 in the bottom of the 4th. Hard hit ball. Solano on a knee to get it. Fires to first, and a scoreless ninth by Heath Bell. Marlins need runs. They need 3 of them, and they need them quickly. Affordable, stylish, and safe. It's probably a Hyundai. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Checkers, feast on. And by Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. 4-1, Phillies on top on a glorious Sunday in Miami. And a kids Sunday here at the ballpark. We'd like to thank the Players Edge Baseball Academy Pro Shop on West Palmetto in Boca for all the equipment needs. All the stuff that we saw and used today came from the Players Edge Baseball Academy Pro Shop. It's a proud sponsor of Billy's Bunch. Go to playersedgebaseball.com, or you can call them at 561-672-7474. Some really cool stuff. The top of the line Rawlings Heart of the Hide gold gloves. The nice New Balance spikes. Niner had a wooden bat and an aluminum bat.
Remember how we talked about that pitcher's glove, how that web is enclosed instead of like the H web or the outfield glove web.
If you look at Jonathan Papelbon's glove, he's got a cover over his index finger that usually sticks out of the glove. They put it on pitcher's gloves so they don't tip their pitches.
Yeah, some pitchers had lift it up on one pitch and keep it down on another.
Yep. You see that glove right there? It's kind of a little pocket that his index finger goes into that he doesn't wiggle around so a hitter can see what he's throwing.
Reyes up there, he's doubled. Also has a bunt hit, and he takes a strike.
Look a little outside.
That one is called the ball, and it's 2-1.
Jose Reyes with 180 base hits this year.
You were right, Niner. That second pitch was outside.
I didn't think I was seeing things. I thought that might have been a little bit off the plate.
It was a lot off the plate. Here's the 2-1. Chopper. Utley goes to get it, underhands it, and flips to Ruff to get the out. For a Philly fan, it's great to see Utley playing like this. He's doing it with the bat. Defensively, he's still able to do it. Question for Utley moving forward is going to be health. Can he stay healthy?
I think if you asked most Philly people, they would say he might not be the Utley that he was, but he's still a really good second baseman.
I'll tell you what, that guy right there, I would take 8 of on my team because he plays the game right. He cares. I was talking to him by the batting cage about his health and his knees. He said everything's good. And I said, you got anything planned for this offseason? He goes, a lot of work.
A lot of work.
He said, I got a lot of work planned this offseason to get back to where I was.
No, we see you Bruins stick together.
Us Bruins, we fight and scratch and claw.
Yeah, he's that kind of player. You're absolutely right.
Come on, you are a relief pitcher.
And what's your point?
You weren't. The only thing you were scratching and clawing was in the bullpen.
You were headed over to Brentwood every night.
Tico standings here. Braves 4 back of the Nationals. And we told you the Braves are winning 6-1. The Nationals are losing 9-4. But Washington has clinched at least a tie. Baltimore is about to finish off Boston. And what a sight to see all of Camden Yards standing as the Orioles have won it. And so now that puts the pressure on the Yankees. The Yankees have responded and come back to lead Toronto 7-5 in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, the Yankees have made a nice comeback. They were trailing 5-1 at one point.
You know, it's interesting, as well as Baltimore has done this year and as amazing a season as they've had, the fans have really not supported them until late. The Marlins have a better attendance this year than the Baltimore Orioles do, with a stadium that holds 10,000 more people.
Which was the model for beautiful new ballparks, Camden Yards.
Still one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Stanton battling Papelbon. Counts 0-2. Look how far Ruiz is set up. And he missed the target, and Stanton slams it into right field for a hit. Our Toyota inside look. Ruiz very active behind the plate.
Calls for the high heat.
And for the most part, wherever he put the glove, Cole Hamels was able to hit that target throughout the day.
Not to mention he's been active behind the plate, making a couple of tags at plays at the plate.
Marlins have had 2 runners thrown out at the plate. There's Carlos Lee. One of those came on the lead base hit in the 4th. Marlins got their only run, but then Stanton was called out when his lead foot, as he tried to get to the plate, missed the plate. And Ruiz got his hand on the way back. And Lee rolls one into left field. That's a base hit. Remember last night, Papelbon came in somewhat of a runaway game with a 4-run lead. He gave up 3 hits in the inning, but did not give up a run.
Carlos Lee's such a smart hitter. He knows they're bunched up for double play. He got a pitch that he could hook a little bit and pulled it to the right of Jimmy Rollins in the left field.
Here's Solano. He had one of those hits last night on a hanging breaking ball from Papelbon. And he pulled it into left field.
Lee's really impressed me with his patience late in games when he knows their better end of their bullpen is in the game, and he's able to take what that pitcher gives him. And Stanton, for me, you know, after taking a month off of knee surgery and coming back, he got right back to where he was before knee surgery. He just takes off 8 games for an oblique strain and comes right back and hits home runs. And the timing element for me, I always had to play a lot. I couldn't come back after a month and like jump right back in the lineup and hit the ball like I was beforehand. It took me a few days to really get it going.
Do you think Carlos Lee's been good for some of the hitters, the other hitters around him?
I think so. I think you know, they're looking at this guy who is obviously one of the premier power hitters in the game, a run producer who is now doesn't have the power he used to, but he still knows how to work a count, knows how to take what they give him and serve a nice line drive over into right field to drive in a run. And I think the young hitter should know that hey, you don't have to hit the ball out of the ballpark to be successful. You can contribute a lot by keeping the line moving and keeping those guys coming to the plate.
There's a scene going on right now in Baltimore. The Orioles, after beating Boston, have stayed on the field and are watching the scoreboard. And they're watching the Rangers and the Angels. The Rangers have a 4-3 lead in the top of the ninth. And obviously, Baltimore not only battling for the top spot in the East, but they're trying to lock down just a postseason berth, be it a wild card game or what have you. So if Texas beats the Angels, the Orioles are in.
Oh, I missed that. The scoreboard watching come at the end of
I tell you,
September.
Nothing like it if you're in it, and with the extra wild card, this is a great time of year. This come down to be that this year too.
Solano, a 10-game streak, doubled in the fifth. 2-1 coming. Two and two. Stanton out at second. Lee at first. Papelbon had a long inning last night. And he throws the fastball by Solano. So he's got 2 outs. And here comes John Buck. Greg Dobbs has emerged on deck. Miami down to their last out. Phillies trying to take the series. And that's a strike, and it's 0-1. Jeff Conine, you have a nice charity event tonight. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we're having the second annual Celebrity Poker Classic over at Calder Casino at the Studs Poker Room. Raised $75,000 last year. We're looking at a sold-out field this year, and hopefully going to break that $100,000 mark. All for the Conine Clubhouse over at the Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital.
If someone wanted to get involved, are all the tickets sold, or are they able to attend?
We're taking some walk-ups if they were actually to go to Calder and try to get in the field. I think there are going to be some alternates that will be seated. No guarantees at this point. There is a finite number of tables in there that we're able to use. So,
well, good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Got a World Series of Poker seat for first place this year.
Wow. 0-2. Pitch misses inside.
Rich and I usually save ourselves to the Jeff Conine golf tournament, which comes up January this year?
Yeah, January 21st this year.
Nice.
Ozzie Guillen, Charlie Manuel squaring off for the final time this year. And Papelbon strikes out Buck. The Marlins leave 2 on base, and that's kind of the way it went all day long. The Fish an opportunity, but unable to deliver. Papelbon strikes out Solano, and Buck to notch the save. Cole Hamels gets the win. He ends his season at 17-6. Good luck with the charity poker tournament tonight, Mr. Conine.
Thank you, Mr. Waltz.
There you go, Marlins
Had
Live.
fun today.
Presented by Checkers. Coming up.